I'm on Stetson this morning, and I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we're going to see. I made a post a while back where if you only ride on good days, you'll never have a good horse. Today is one of those situations. We had a little tropical thing come in last night. It wasn't named because there really wasn't no wind in it to speak of, but it was a little tropical something, whatever they call it, that formed right off the mouth of the Mississippi River. Came ashore right on the Mississippi-Alabama line last night. And I think we got somewhere around 8 inches of rain last night. It was a lot of rain. So everything is really, really wet. Like he was in last night. A lot of them was in. Just about all of them was in. And of course, all that rain on the roof, we got insulation on the roof, but still, when there's that much rain, it gets noisy. And as you see, just getting on him, having a little harder time keeping his attention on me than what I have been. But if you only ride on good days, you never have a good horse. So we're going to see what today brings. As for a trot, I walk my circles both directions. I'm looking out over that way. Nice little break at the softening in the pole. When he softened at the pole, he lost his impulsion. I need a little more leg, a little more drive from behind. Keep that back up. Have to have that impulsion. Keep the forward going. Add a little bit of left rein, left leg. Get some left bend because he keeps looking to the outside. Kind of locked in the counter bend. Look to the inside, leg yield out. Just taking what he's giving me, and that's what I'm working with to start with. I want to get his attention on me. I really had in mind doing some more advanced stuff with him for the video, but I'm going to do what he gives me to work on. Didn't wet my arena this morning. I should have. Everything out there is so wet. Thought of running a sprinkler never dawned on me. We're soaked. And we've been getting a good bit of rain. So the ground is saturated. It's not going to dry up real quick. Go out a little bit bigger. Look up, go forward. Okay, now next time I come around and he locks to the outside, I'm going to pull his head around the left. I'm going to kick on him pretty hard. Get my hands ready. Because I'm leg yielding with my left leg. And he's not coming to me. Left leg. Kicking pretty hard. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Now let's go forward again. Go around. We'll see if he does that again. If he does it again, I'm going to do it again. Again. Kicking with both legs, but harder with the left. Let's go around again. See what happens. There we go. I didn't pull his head around, but I did kick harder, and his ear came back to me. Progress. Still wanting to bend to the outside. There we go. See, now I could have gotten into kind of a picking match where I'm picking with him to get what I want. But I went on and escalated to, you behave, I know you know better. I'm going to scold you for not keeping your attention on me. And it was done and over. I'm going to go against this wall and we'll ask him to stop. Whoa. Good boy. Still needs to be softer in the backup. I'll work that later. Forward. I might have to do the same thing to the right. We'll see. He's leaning on my right leg pretty good. Right leg, there we go. Right ear came back. Not as bad this way. Right leg, right ear. Need better right bend. not maintaining the arc in his spine to match the arc of the circle we're doing. Turning to the right, kick, 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 forward kick. Now I'm going to leave. I always get questions like, can you do that without spur? No, you can't. Not very efficiently. You can pick at it, you're never going to win. The whole purpose of wearing a spur, so that you can escalate when it's necessary. Pull the head around again. My first 2 or 3 kicks was just with my right leg, and then I added the left to keep sending him forward. I'm not doing a one range stop, sending him forward. Big difference there. One range stop, I'd be disengaging his hind end and loading his front. Don't want to do that. I want him engaged through that turn. Huge difference there. Posted an article about engaging and disengaging on a lunge line. Obvious that many people that should know don't know the difference between engaged and disengaged. Let's ask for a little bit of a lope. Let's make it a little harder. Come on. A little bit more forward. Takes a little more energy. More likely to listen to me. It's funny because right then, the trot wasn't great. And I went to the lope. I could have stayed picking with the trot. But I know that making his feet go forward is going to make that better. It's going to get his attention on me. Sometimes I'm going to go ahead and go to the lope, and trot ain't perfect. Hanging on my hands a little bit. Want to be a little lazy. Using my spurs to drive him up, lift his back. When I feel him hang on my hands, that's him losing his impulsion, inverting his back. I did a video that I posted on Patreon, or will be posted, I think, tomorrow on Patreon, about how I take my bend counter bend and build it into collection. That's basically what I'm doing with him. But I broke that down in little steps in that video that I posted on Patreon, and went in detail explanations about what to do and why it works. If you're interested, that video will be on my Patreon channel. Every time I feel him pull on my hands, I'm off with spurs. At this point, he's pretty good. He knows what the bend counter bend is. So I'm pretty much just bumping forward with both legs, setting my hands still. When he pulls on my hands, bump with legs. That engages the back end, lifts back. There we go. I'd like to be doing this in my big arena, but all that rain last night, it's just too wet. Come around and I'll ask for a stop again. Nope, not now, because it's too heavy on my hands. I'm only going to ask for a stop when he's round and soft. That's when his body is in the correct position to do it. Go around again. Whoa. There we go. Turn to the wall. He was heavy on my hands in the turn, so I gave him a good kick. There we go. A little bit better in this lead. had a pretty good talk with its owner. She will be showing him in dressage. I need a better stop and I need a better lope departure. Two big things that he needs to be better. For both of those to be better, he's got to use it back in better, which is this lifting the back and engaging forward. If he's not lifting and engaging, neither the stop or the departure is going to be good. Fell in there, left leg, left rein. Now ask him to collect up a little better. Left leg, left rein. Ask for another stop if he's soft. Whoa. There we go. Good. Let's back up a little bit. There we go. That needs to get better too. It's all connected. All connected. He's a good horse. He's a energy conservationist. Doesn't put any effort into something that he doesn't have to. Oh, push through the middle of that turn. Turn again. Back again. Squeeze with my spurs. Back again. There we go. Let him stand a minute. It's humid today from all that rain. Temperature is not supposed to be real high, but it sure is humid. It's like being in a sauna. There we go. All right, let's go back to trot. First few strides looked really nice. And then he kind of fell on his front end. Get back better again. First few strides was nice because he was collected and rounded up and drove off nice. Holding it, he didn't quite hold it. It's holding this better. It's falling out once in a while. Let's cut through the middle and change directions. When we changed directions, his shoulder fell. That's when he lost his rhythm. We're going to need to do that some more. Let's do some straight lines and some turns. Straight. See right there when he go from straight to bend. Better bend, now straight. Bend, now straight. Working that bend to straight, the horse taking their body from the curve to a straight line changes the alignment and really shows off if they're weak holding their collection. When you're going in a circle, you got inside, it's either falling or it's not, and outside, it's either supported or it's not. And that's takes some practice, takes some skill for the horse to hold that together. But when you change bend, go back to the right, bend to straight, to bend, either the same direction or the other bend. When you're changing that, and you're changing the bend in the horse's spine, they really have to keep their back up. So you can kind of lose the rhythm there. To keep their back up, to maintain that rhythm. It's hard work. Turn. Straight. Turn. There we go. I see a lot of horses, English and Western, that when they turn with the body too straight. And what happens, instead of actually bending their spine to match the curve, the arc of the turn they're making, the shoulders just fall one way or the other. They fall into the turn. And that, whoop, nope, gotta keep going. See, right there, he tried to fall to the left instead of bend into that curve. It's easier to just fall that direction, but it's not correct. There we go. Back up with my left hand. My hands move around depending on what I'm wanting to get the neck to do. Just kind of change the angle of the contact. Changes the neck, helps the shoulders, along with my leg. Keep going. Keep going. And let's walk again. Good boy. Decent downward transition for him. Came down, maintained a decent rhythm, didn't fall on my hands. Good for him. Okay, so now I want to work on the back end a little bit. So when he's falling on his front end, inverting his front end, head comes up, loses his roundness, back end comes out. I want to work on pushing this back end over, getting a little better control of the back end. There we go. And stop. Now, pay close attention to how I'm doing this. When I put left leg back and push that hip over, after the hip moves, I'm going to make contact with the left rein. I'm going to bring the head to the left. I don't want to bring the head to the right. If I bring the head to the right, that loads the front end, that loads this leg, and disengages this back end. That article I just wrote about engaged and disengaged with the back end, there's a huge difference between the two. If I work now, push his hip over and disengage, then he's going to have problems later on with the change of bend, like I was just working, and with his lead changes. I break this down in detail in several videos. Push the hip and left rein and stop. While making contact with that left rein, that engages this hip over and under, not just over and out, and lifts the shoulder. Very important. Left leg, hip over to the left. Oh, no shoulder, just hip. He's trying to move the, no. No, I'm not. There we go. And then right rein. He was pushing his shoulder and his hip over. I didn't release because I want just the hip. Just the hip. We're facing the barn. Hip, hip, and nose. There we go. Now let's go ahead and walk forward a little bit. All this builds towards correct lope departures. If you're going to lope off in the right lead, you're going to use your left leg, push the hip over, tilt the nose to the right, and then when you smooch, you should lope off in the right lead. That's how that's supposed to work. That's why the hip has to be engaged. If you push the hip over to the right and you bring the nose to the left and you ask to lope off, your horse is going to lope off in the wrong lead. If it lopes off at all because they're so out of balance. Nope, left leg, there we go, and then right rein. I had a little bit of leg right there in the shoulder to lift that shoulder. Let's leg yield over a little bit. There we go. Did that because when I put left leg in the hip, I'm getting hip and shoulder. I don't want hip and shoulder, I just want hip. So after we walked off, I put right leg in the shoulder to push the hip back over where it's supposed to be. Let's do it again. Left leg in the hip, move the hip over. See how the shoulder's wanting to move too? I'm gonna wait. I could add left leg in the shoulder, or right leg in the shoulder. Now, there we go. Hip, right leg, leg yield over. There we go. I could add right leg behind the girth. At the same time, I have the left leg back. But I'd rather not until he gets better pushing his hip over. Let's do it one more time. Give you a little bit different angle. Left leg in the hip. Nope. Nope. Left leg. There we go. Now right leg and shoulder. Right rein up. Right bend. There we go. Good boy. That gives me the right bend that I want for the right lope departure. We'll walk around a little bit. Not really ask for anything. Just give his brain a little bit of a break. The stop has become way better. I'd still like for it to be better. And when he came, he practically didn't have a stop. The reason he didn't have a stop was because of this loading his front end up thing. That's why he didn't have a stop. As I get his shoulders up, back engaged better, everything gets better. Let's do a little bit of counter bend. Shoulders to the left, bend to the right. Free them shoulders up. Free them shoulders up. There we go. Most often when you're working flying lead changes and your horse is not getting the lead change, a lot of times the issue is in the front. It's caused from exactly what he was just doing. If I put left leg back and push his hip over and I get shoulder over too, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get a crossfire. They'll change in the front, but they won't change in the back. And the reason they're changing in the front is because the shoulder's falling that way. When the shoulder falls that way, the hip comes out and goes back into the contact, so they don't change in the back. So that's why it's real important that I school on this shoulder over, along with pushing the hip over. Hip over, there. Now shoulder over. I want him to know that when that hip goes over to the right, shoulder has to stay up and go to the left. There, that was better. I didn't get as much hip over, but didn't get any shoulder over. Let's do it again. There, shoulder over. Good. Let's work the other one. Left leg back, hip, and the left rein. Good. Left leg back. Good. Right leg back. There we go. Good boy. That was basically a flying lead change and a walk. Good boy. Maintain a little bit better walk. Now I'm going to ask him to stop out here in the middle, and we'll settle, then we'll back one step. Whoa. See how he stopped and his head come up? That's that falling on the front end. It still needs to get better. It's not terrible. There we go. Good boy. Good boy. He's gradually getting stronger here in the back, engaging his back end better. Coming along nice. So I'm going to call it quits on him for today. This is Stetson. I'll have a link somewhere of his playlist on YouTube if you're watching there. Until next time, thank you for watching. Come on.